Hello, happy Sunday. And our prayer thought for today, Father, let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight. Reflections, welcome to Reflections. Today, we're going to reflect on maybe, I guess it's going to be a paragraph or a thought, the whole thought. We're just not doing one or two words, but we're going to, what do we mean by reflecting? We're going to look deeply into the words. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get the real meaning to what's being said as it relates to you. The meaning of the words that have been spoken as they relate to you. And if you're listening to yourself, say, to me. Today, we're going to use the one, and it's not important who said these things. You weren't there, you don't know what their thought was, but you are right now, and you're going to say them to yourself. So the problem is, or what we're trying to do, is to get some self-understanding. We want to know. You're thinking, well, what does this say to me? That's what you're going to ask your question. When I read my paragraph here, you're going to say, what does this say to me? The thought today was Paul who said, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this I do, forgetting the things that are behind me, I press on. And he says to the mark of higher calling. But if we can get to pressing on, we'll do fine. So it doesn't matter what he said. Let's see, what would that say to you? What does that mean to you? I count not, and when he says I count not, that means I'm not considering it. It doesn't matter. It's not really real. I really wouldn't say. That's what that word, I count not. He says, I count not myself to have apprehended, and the word apprehend means that he thoroughly understands or he has control of whatever the situation is. So he doesn't count himself to know everything. He's just trying to understand, but he seemingly has come to a conclusion of what it means. I count not myself, he says, but this one thing I do, forgetting the things that are behind me, I press on. What would that say to you? What would you say? I don't understand what's going on. Let me say it for me. And you be thinking about it for you. And I'm saying like this, look at the time. Look at what's going on now in the world. Look at the people. Look how we're acting. Look how we're being. I don't understand it. So I don't pretend, there's a good word for you. I don't pretend to know what's going on. They keep talking about the change, the world is moving on. I don't understand it all. I wonder, where do I fit? Can I fit? How do I fit? I don't understand all of that, but this thing, Paul says, I do. I don't know about all of that, but I know me well enough. I've been with me well enough, and I know this. This is the way I'll deal with the situation, regardless to what it is. I'll forget it. I'm forgetting the things that of the past, forgetting those things, forgetting the past. Now, what does that mean? Forgetting? Does that mean that he forgot it happened, or does it mean that he ignores what happened, or does it mean he just went on to the next thing? How would you deal with that? If something popped up or the situation is in and it's just out of control, you've lost control, and it's not something that is pleasing in your sight, how would you deal with that? Can you forget it? Well, I'm thinking how I would deal with it. It certainly would mean to me that he decided he wasn't going to wrestle with it. He wasn't going to lose any more sleep over it. He did whatever he could do about it, and he decided to let the rest of it take care of himself. I think that's the way I would do. I would just, and it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be in my mind, because we all know the minute we say we're going to forget it, and the least little thing that pops up, the whole incident pops up again. Well, he said, I got to rise past that. I got to move it up to a level where it does not affect my being. It does not affect my feeling. And then another word for feeling, my emotions. Because, you know, with every thought, we have an emotion that covers that thought. That's a little team, the thought and the emotion, that feeling, that how you feel. You know, and some people say, doesn't matter how she feels, or oh, doesn't matter how he feels. Well, I got to stop on that and tell you, yes, it does matter how you feel. Your feelings, when your feelings get all messed up in your system gets all messed up and you get a different result. That's another lesson. But I want you to know that you cannot, so you got to know how to deal with it. Let's see if we can find a way. Why don't we just lay it to the side, give the person the benefit of the doubt, and decide that that does not affect me. Now, you can't tell me that you know you're going to feel this and you know you're going to feel that, simply because who's in charge of how you feel? Who's in charge of what you do? Are you in charge of you? Are other people in charge of you? I count not. You know, I've been to school. Yes, Paul was highly educated. He came from a wealthy family. He was doing good, very popular where he was. But still, he always took the time to reflect on whatever the situation was. To think about what had happened, and how or what it meant to him. How did it relate to him? What did it have to do with him? What were the consequences of what he did about it? See, reflect. He gave it serious thought. And after really thinking about it and seeing this way and that way and the other way, he decided, I'm going to forget it. I'm going to move on to the next thing, because you see, I can't keep the past in the present. That was yesterday, or that was the other day. What's going on? If I keep put that in this place right here, the place where I'm supposed to be dealing with the present is being walked over. So I'm going to miss something someplace. So it's up to me to have the kind of thoughts that should go here, so that I can go on to this place over here and get the advantages that life has to offer for that day. I count not myself to know everything. I count not myself. I don't consider myself to be so smart. But I do have consider that I'm smart enough to know that I can't do anything about whatever this is. And so I'm going to press on. Now, what press on means? It means that you aren't going to say, well, I'm going on. Because it takes more than that for you to do what we just got through saying, forget. Forgetting the past. But I can't stay with that forever. I'm coming on to this. Forgetting the things that are behind me. I'm going to press on. And that's not going to be easy. Pressing on it. Working on it hard. I'm going to give it all I've got. I'm going to give it a lot of consideration. I'm going to give all of this. So that's not going to be easy either. But it's going to be worth the fight. I count myself smart enough to know when to move forward and when to stand still. You know, there's a scripture that says, stand still and know. That doesn't mean you're going to jump up about every little thing, or you just going to get all conglomerated. And I don't know where that word came from, but there is one. It doesn't mean you're just going to lose sight of what's going on, that you aren't going to be in charge of you. Did you know? When you get to things in life that do those things to you, that there's a remedy? Do you know that within you is that something? And what is that something? That God, that infinite, that power, that there's that all-powerful something that connects your mind, connects to another mind, that when you come together into that oneness, you are one, and that you got that protection of that God all around you, all in you, all for you. Did you know? Something was, you know, I can remember my brother said to me one time, Blackie, any fool knows there's something. He said, I don't know what it is, but you know that something made the sun shine this morning. Are you with me today? All of that power, you are stronger than anything that pops up. But don't waste your energy on non-stuff that just doesn't mean a thing to you. I consider it. I reflect upon it. I'm going to think on it. And why am I thinking and reflecting? So that they tell me. And I'm telling you that there is a power or a something within you. I didn't say in you, I say within you. You got to learn about this withinness of living. There's something within you that goes along to make the crooked way straight. There's something within you that makes a way out of no way. There's something within you that does whatever it is, gives to you whatever it is you need. Somebody or something loves you tonight. Something. Maybe you can't describe it. What it is to you, it might not be to me. What it is to me might not be quite what it is to you. But there is, start hoping, and if you start reflecting, if you start listening. You know, in the Bible, they tell us about the men in the Bible who God used to talk to, you know, and we say, yeah. But I tell you today, he talked to more than Peter and John. He'll talk to you. If you'll be still, if you'll listen, if you'll be open. That's something. You know, let me tell you, sometimes we get messages and we know not. Have you ever started down the street and something said to you, go the other way, don't go that way? And you find out a little later, if you had gone the way you thought you had gone, it wouldn't have. That was God speaking to you. The Spirit of God that watches over you will let you know which way to go. Will let you know which way to be. I count not myself to be above that little finiteness that I speak to you about. I consider myself low and humble and open and receptive to His word, to His way, to the abilities of life. I count not myself. I'm just not gonna worry about the COVID. Can I do anything about COVID? So why should I worry? Why should my life be upside down? Why should I not know which way to start? You know, there's another song they sing, I know the Lord will, Mama and them used to sing it. I know the Lord will make a way. And then something in the back of your mind will say, yes, He will. Can you say, yes, He will today? Can you say, yes, the way is already made if I move the blinders from my eyes so that I can see it? What do you feel? What do you think? I think today I'm going to move on. I'm going to forget stuff that I have no control over and know that there is a God above who controls it all. I believe that. I've thought about that. How do I feel about that? I feel good about that. I feel comfortable about that. I feel relaxed about that. I'm not jumpy. Be still. Be quiet. Be patient. Think positively. You know, that's going to help your system. Positive thinking and negative with thinking. And it is up to you. It's up to you to determine which of those thinkings to use. Am I going to be positive? If I do, then my system inside, my emotions, there's another thing we haven't talked about. You have emotions with every thought you have. You've got an emotion. In other words, with every thought you think, there's a feeling behind it. And that feeling will determine whether you're working positively or whether you're negatively. And if you're in the negative mode, then that negative feeling is not going to let your subconscious work. It controls the condition of your subconscious. So you got to fix it so you ought to have it. Got to just automatically and deliberately give it some thought so that you can, so you can have control over those things you're supposed to have control over, mainly your thoughts. I count not myself. I count not myself. I don't know what's going on, but you remember a long time ago there was a song that said, something within me, that holdeth the rain, something within me, it banishes vain. And he just went on to tell about the things that somebody thought was in them. He said, I can't explain it. I can't tell you what it is. All I know is something that makes the pathway straight. It's something that makes me do right when I'm trying to do wrong, and it helped me to go when I said I don't. Everything that, in other words, something that takes root of my soul and moves me into the path of righteousness. Something within. What is that something? That's that almighty power of the infinite God, who lives where? Where is that you're talking about? That is within you. It's within me. Something within. I don't want to say something. I want to say that God, that almighty power, that rules the universe, allows me to rule my world through my thoughts. Lets me build my world through my thoughts. I can be happy, I can be sad. It's not up to conditions, situations, or circumstances. It's what I say it is. It's what I think it is. I, the God within me. How about that? Think about that. Repeat it with me, come on. I count not. I count not. I count not myself. Can you count? Do you consider? How do you consider you? Are you an important person? Are you a beautiful person? Are you a God-fearing person? And when I say fearing, I mean respecting. I count not. Who are we talking about? Pat yourself and say, I count not me. I count not myself to have understood everything that goes on in this life and in this world. I count not. I know not. I don't know. I don't understand it all. But I have decided as for me, and my affairs, I'm going to be still. And I'm going to forgetting the things, the bad or the bad misfortune or whatever. I want to just let that go. I'm just going to let that be as if it never was. I let it go. And then what am I going to do? I have to be busy, because in this life you have to grow. It's all right of the experiences I'm having, and sometimes they aren't such good experiences, but that's the way we grow through this life, through the experiences we have. Some of them are good and some of them, but the main thing is that you grow from them. You learn your lesson, you get your blessing. Learn your lesson, you get your blessing. Don't be so quick to give up on what happened. Be glad that it happened to you. I count not myself to have it, but this I do, I forget. In the past, forgetting the things that are behind me. Press on. Go on. Be on. And that was today, this Sunday. This beautiful Sunday. Hello, I'm saying goodbye until next week.